Good morning. Welcome everyone to International Conference on Innovation and Sustainability in Business Development at Jammu University. The theme of this conference has been well chosen by the organizers of this conference, Industry 5.0, a look into the future. I'm going to speak about regenerative strategies for the circular economy in the context of this particular theme. We have had 4 industry phases before the Industry 5.0. The Industry 1.0 was the mechanization phase of first industrial revolution in United Kingdom, where the focus was on substituting manpower with machinery power to exploit manpower. The challenge England was facing was its labor cost was very high compared to other nations, in particular India, in textiles. It came up with machinery as a solution to substitute manpower to reduce the labor cost. British engineers, scientists, missionaries came to India and identified practices workers were following, and they went back to UK to design the machinery based on the knowledge they had gathered. That led to a very rapid phase of new machinery development to exploit manpower. That was followed by Industry 2.0, the automation phase, where the focus was on substituting machinery power with automated, massifiable manufacturing power to exploit machinery power. And that was done in the United States, which realized it cannot compete with UK purely based on the machines. It came up with this concept of interchangeable inputs and interchangeable parts and interchangeable products. A mass production system was established, and that allowed a more intensive use of machinery by making sure that the machines are being run 24/7 through a process which automates the movement of inputs through the process to the output. That was followed by Industry 3.0, the digitization phase led by Japanese. They realized that they cannot compete with American firms based on manufacturing power. They began focusing on programmable mental power to exploit manufacturing power through lean hardware plus massive growth in software. Here the focus was, how can we create a hub and spoke system? Hub comprises of a common platform connected with a variety of differentiated options that can be applied using that common platform. The lead firm is lean. It doesn't grow too much, but there's a massive growth in the networking system, the supplier networks, the distribution networks. There's a massive growth in using software, less investments in hardware. Everybody becomes a digit of the invisible hand of the company, working to make sure that this invisible hand of Japanese actually becomes a visible hand internationally. The next phase was Industry 4.0, the mediation. This was led by Chinese. The focus was to substitute mental power with social muscular power, to exploit mental power through channel mediation, where you are working to mediate the information, the intelligence of everyone using large populations and amplifying that information, amplifying the communication, amplifying the knowledge networking. It leads to massive proliferation of all the options. It creates more demonstration. Channel mediation included a rapid growth in websites, rapid growth in social media. Some of the world's largest companies which are using web media and social media have been based in China. The government is mediating that, or companies are mediating that. Culturally, there is acceptance that there will be a centralized mediator, a central entity. The next phase has been Industry 5.0. This is the phase which is emerging now. The industry phrase for this one is moderation, where you substitute the muscular power, the social muscular power, with human motivating power to exploit muscular power through investment moderation. This is being led by India. The focus is that how can we moderate our investments, encourage our employees to work long hours. The focus is that how can we attenuate this artificial intelligence which is growing from the previous phase, where all this information, communication, knowledge were put into libraries, and those libraries are being increasingly artificially accessed. Even though we have now ChatGPT and those as artificial intelligence tools, but the foundations are set up in the previous phase. How can we attenuate that artificial intelligence that is working to generate convergence by cycling this information, communication, and knowledge libraries? So when somebody is using ChatGPT and everybody is using ChatGPT, that leads to some kind of homogeneity, some kind of convergence. The companies which are winning the race are the ones who are diverging from that by regenerating human intelligence. When Tesla kind of sets this goal for its employees, that how they can expand their supply chain networks and address kind of their bottlenecks to ensure kind of rapid growth and meet the demand needs, that's an example of how do you moderate artificial intelligence and rely on human intelligence. The phase we can predict come next is Industry 6.0. This phase is going to be modulation. Modulation means adjustment, modification, where the focus is going to be on substituting motivating power with natural material power to exploit motivating power through servicing modulation. We are increasingly using more and more of natural resources, and it's becoming clear that this approach is not sustainable. The reason why there has been over-exploitation of natural resources is because of hedonic motivation, that we have to consume everything. There's going to be a great touch with the natural reality as people in India become more connected with the ancient wisdom that has been lost. Focus is going to be on regenerating nature. A regenerative strategy regenerates the benefit of a resource after it has been consumed and assumed to be left with zero value. A regenerative strategy is cost effective. Regenerating value costs nothing when one begins with nothing. You are using intelligently designed furniture for your house. How come that furniture is serving no further purpose? If you are able to redesign it, re-engineer it, and regenerate value, then it's a cost-effective solution. On the other hand, consumption generates cost to source value without the resource. The more you use the furniture, you capture more value out of it, but the cost of resource consumed, that you furniture depreciation that you account for in your accounting books, that increases. A generative strategy is cost escalating. Generating value eventually cost everything one started with. You invested 10 lakh rupees in a bedroom set. By the time the bedroom set is of no use to you, you want to purchase a new one, that bedroom set has no value. Sometimes you have to actually pay somebody to take that away. So it cost everything that you started with. A regenerative strategy is secular in nature. Anyone may adopt regenerative strategy as an input when starting with a condition of nothingness to end with everything. Let me share a story of a boy who had nothing and was able to regenerate everything. And this is a story which I read in my childhood. There was a boy, he was an orphan. He was walking one day, he saw a sahukar scolding his son because sahukar has given money to his son to invest in a business, but the son has lost all the money. The son was telling the sahukar that it's normal in a business, you lose sometimes and you gain sometime, and therefore you should not be scolding me, there's nothing to worry. And the sahukar was of the view that he has earned that money with a lot of effort in his life. He pointed out to a dead rat in front of the house and said that if somebody was liar capable and will be able to convert this dead rat into a golden rat. But you are nalayak, you are incapable. Even the gold that I have given you, you have converted that into something which has nothing, and we end up with this dead rat in front of a house. A bad omen. This boy was perplexed and he said, okay, let me test this theory that Sahukar has. This rat is worth a golden rat. Started walking with that rat in his hand, and he found a halwai. The halwai had a cat who was very hungry. Halwai asked the boy that would he be willing to give his dead rat, and in exchange he will give him some chana. The boy said, okay, I will take some chana in exchange, and because the boy was very hungry, he put some water in that and waited for an hour for chana to become big with water. As the boy was beginning to eat, that there were some wood crafters were walking by from long distance with wood logs on their head, and they were very hungry. And they asked the boy, would he be willing to share soaked chanas with them? In exchange, they will give one wooden log each to the boy. The boy kept some chana for himself and took all these wooden logs, started walking with the wooden logs, not knowing what to do next. All he had in mind was that somehow end up with a golden rat. He was walking, he again saw the halwai, and halwai noticed his logs, and turned out that there has been heavy rains in the city and there were no wooden logs available, therefore the halwai was not able to cook anything. I asked whether he would be willing to give wooden logs to him, and in exchange he will give even more chana. So I took those chana and again put the water, and he again gave those chanas to the woodcrafters, and this time woodcrafters gave him 3 logs each. Now a boy was in 2 businesses. He was in the business of feeding the entire city. Entire city needed to go to halwais, have food, or they needed wood at their home. The boy was the one who was providing those wood to the people in the city. He was also feeding the woodcrafters. Soon enough, the boy became the wealthiest person in town. And one fine day, he took a golden rat and went to the Sahukar and told Sahukar, "This is my Guru Dakshina." Sahukar said, "I don't really know who you are and never give any knowledge to anyone. Last time I remember giving knowledge was to my son, and nothing turned out with that. So I keep my knowledge to myself, because once I share my knowledge, I have my experiences that knowledge is worth nothing." Boy related the whole story. Sahukar was amazed, and Sahukar said, "Okay, under one condition, I'm going to accept Guru Dakshina. The condition is you marry my daughter." Boy who had nothing ends up with both wealth and the wife. Nothing turns into everything. A generative strategy is spiritual in nature. Everyone with something may accept the output of a generative strategy to be left as the enjoyer of the thing they have consumed, which some say is a spirit. If you consume a furniture, if you consume a chana, if you consume wooden logs, many people say that you're not consuming the wooden logs, you're not consuming the chana, you're not consuming the furniture. What you're consuming is the spirit of the person who manufactured that. Okay, the spirit of the people who are involved in the whole process. That's the spirit, the collective spirit, individual spirit aggregated, is what you're consuming. A great example is when I was in Japan, I saw that the Japanese always try to feel the product which is not made in Japan or not made with good intentions, good mind. Then they immediately are able to feel that's gross in nature. So anything which is manufactured in China, typically what they say is that it has a gross spirit. Chinese like everything big. So it's very gross. They're very money-minded, materialistic. If we consume this, we also become materialistic. We also become money-minded. Our mind also get corrupted. So no, we don't want Chinese products. We want Japanese products, which is spiritual, which is seva bhav, which is servicing oriented. The air, the vibe is very good. It's healthy. And therefore, by consuming this spirit, I will be more in touch with the nature. It will bring more joy to me. If the spirit is good, your intention, your spirit to consume that is good. And therefore you enjoy it. That's the benefit you get. Look at an example. After we watch a movie and catch its spirit with the belief we could have scripted a different ending. As you go home, as you sleep, over the next few days, you are rerunning the movie in your mind with different permutations and combinations. And your mind is telling you that it could have written a different ending, a different process. You become a script writer. Just like the script writer whose movie you saw. Once you write your script, you want to share that. Okay, so if you're really motivated, you will actually produce a movie, or you share that as a book or a social media post. Going to inspire many other people to write their own scripts. When you are writing a script, when you are thinking that I can do a better job than the other one, you're substituting the other one. So you are becoming a competitor. Once you have become a leader and you have created a nice script with your full positive spirit, you have invested in that. So you invite other people to become your followers. So they begin complimenting the work that you have done. You become the common spirit that is now being adapted to different needs and different languages and different approaches. If you had watched a movie of a very famous scriptwriter, then your mind is not going to take liberty of saying that I could have done a better job. Okay, so it's only when you are watching something of a scriptwriter which is not a leader in the world, only then your mind is saying that I can do a better job. And if you are a leader in the world, then you don't have to worry that other people are going to create a better script. If you're a Tesla, Tesla doesn't have to worry. Tesla opened up all its secrets to everyone. I'm an open book. It was not worried that other people are going to copy, but what it knew is that other people are now going to complement and develop the work it is doing, and therefore it could accelerate its development. It would accelerate the reduction of the cost, accelerate the speed of production. The effect of regenerative strategy is supernatural. It makes us divine, capable of determining virtues that generate natural excellence effortlessly just with the imagination of one's life mission, intuition about its value for everyone who wishes to be part of a life story. When you have become a leader means that you are somewhat supernatural. As a supernatural entity, as a leader, you are now making everyone else part of your life story as they're complimenting you, as they're developing the work that you're doing, as they are complementing the work that Tesla is doing. Everyone now becomes part of the Tesla story. On the other hand, effect of generative strategy is natural. Trading the spirit takes space in our mind and costs time of our brain to process its consciousness. We cannot catch the spirit of the movie unless our mind is empty and receptive. If our mind is cluttered with our own stories and own scripts, our own life story, will not be able to grasp the story that somebody else is trying to tell and then rewrite it, regenerate it in different way, giving our quality, imprint in that. Not only we need space in our mind, but we also be willing to invest time of our brain, process the consciousness of the movie that we saw, process the consciousness of dress that we saw on a celebrity and want to have that, but it's too expensive, so we want to create on our own. Consciousness is the benefit our body embodies as soul. Consciousness is something that is within us. Once we catch the spirit, that consciousness comes with it. Spirit comprises of consciousness and the essence of something that we are focusing on. What is soul? Soul is without us. If I create a movie and somebody is watching the movie, as part of my consciousness has now transformed into the soul, my soul, which is now part of everybody's consciousness. Consciousness is within us. Soul is the distributed consciousness. When we invest our time, we are investing our precious life force energy, so we are losing a part of our life, we are losing a part of our lifetime. Part of our lifetime that we lose is permanent. The benefit that we get is momentary. That desire satisfaction is momentary. That desire destruction after satisfaction is momentary. So that's the pain. And as we let go of the pain, we are letting go of ego. The ego that attaches us to the desire. Now that desire is being destroyed after we are satisfying it, and therefore that ego is running away. It's being released. Releasing ego from the brain makes space in the mind. Mind doesn't have to work now for fulfilling that desire. Therefore there is a space in the mind. And when there is space in the mind, mind can feel the pain and cry alongside the emotion of joy. Okay, in the interim, the brain has time to attach the pain with the emotion, while the body feels the joy witnessing crying of the mind. These are khushi ke aansu. So how is khushi and aansu connected? Khushi is that we got something, a joy. Aansu is the pain because we lost something. Brain is connecting the pain with the emotion while the body is feeling the joy. So why is the body feeling the joy? Body hopes it will not have to work again for networking objects it does not need for its well-being. Body hopes that you're not going to again watch a movie which is going to now consume all your time in creating a script and becoming a script writer when your goal was something else. Your goal was to be a student and you got diverted. The body had to work extra time because body has to work even for the things that you are intending to do, as well as this extra work that you imposed on your body. Regenerative strategy, as we discussed, the essence is infinitism. It regenerates the benefit whose limit is infinity when starting with zero. With zero, you get everything. Zero becomes infinity. For generative strategy, the essence is finitism. It generates the cost for the one with infinity who ends with a zero. The Sahukar who had everything and ends up with a zero when his son loses all the wealth. Generation of benefit of consumption of that furniture makes you zero at the end. You're not left with any furniture. The nature of regenerative strategy is secularism. It fills the void of two, the zero and the infinity. So there are two elements, and therefore void, shunyata, has energy value of -2. With one who conceives zero to perceive the infinity. Void of two is being filled by one, the person who conceives zero to perceive the infinity. So -2 is becoming 1. You can look at the difference. That's the 3. So that's a time difference. Spiritualism is the nature of generative strategy. One consumes the infinity of a thing to produce the void with zero within its consciousness. So once you have consumed a thing, everything, there's a void in your mind. What I am going to consume next? I've already used up everything which is available. Okay, so 1 is becoming -2. So here the time is kind of moving backward, and you're going back to a situation where you're nothing. You're going back to that past, which is present as reality. The effect of regenerative strategy is supernaturalism. One becomes divine who guides everyone with its mission, so that everyone becomes like the one before regenerated as the one after. Once you are becoming a script writer and you have made that script writing your mission, the one before, the original script writer was also a script writer, and you're motivating everyone else to complement you and follow you as a script writer. The effect of generative strategy is naturalism. One becomes conscious of the value of one's life when one is following no one, like a guru who has nothing. A guru who has nothing becomes conscious when guru generates knowledge that everyone follows. Guru realizes that my life has value for everyone, naturally. The cause of regenerative strategy is a guide, the one mediating the one before and the one after, like God. One is guiding everyone to line up in the same way. So one before and one after, so guide energy value, Shakti Mulya is 111. The generative strategy, the cause is a guru, the guider, the one who becomes zero because nothing is -1. It doesn't have infinity and remains zero. Guru eventually gets everything, gets the infinity, because all the followers are giving him the credit. Once he gets the infinity, he doesn't have zero anymore. One who becomes zero and remains zero is 100. A guide guides everyone to follow the path that made the guide the one with divine qualities. That is a deity. So one with divine qualities is a deity. Okay. On the other hand, a guide, a guru, guides everyone to follow the path one is leading as a deity. So Guru Deva, so that everyone develops divine quality to be a deity, while the leader transcends them to be a paradeity. Paradeity means a god, a person who transcends everyone. Regenerative strategy regenerates the benefit after the generative strategy generates the cost. The leader is a zero. Why? Because leader has no value if no follower is giving any credit to the leader. If leader receives no followership, if nobody is willing to follow a leader, then leader who is doing nothing, just leading, will not get anything. Hero is the one who is making the leader 5. Why 5? Because as said, -2 and 1, that was 3. And then the leader and the follower, 2. So the energy value of paradeity, the god, is 5. Deity is becoming paradeity. 1 is becoming 5. There's a cost of a 4 which is being used up. There's a void of both 0 and infinity, so that 4 is becoming 2. 4 is the consciousness of the universe without 1 and the universe within 1. 4 is like 4 directions of the universe. The consciousness which fills those 4 directions. It's divided within universe without 1 and universe within 1. So what is universe within 1? The spirit that you caught from the movie and you're playing that in your mind. So you're creating a whole universe of scripts. That's the universe within 1. And when everyone starts following you and you have created a universe of relationships without you. That's the universe without 1. So Brahman within and Brahman without. 2 is the universe one universalizes with oneself and everyone else, who one is leading with self as a quantum system. So 2 includes 2 elements, oneself and everyone else. So quantum system is that you are superimposing yourself on someone else. One leads as a quantum system because one conceives consciousness deficit after scripting a desire and therefore perceives a need for power to energize the consciousness. So when we desire something, we realize that in our consciousness, we don't have something that we are desiring. If we lack what we desire, then we perceive a need for power to gather a collectivity, to gather followers, to gather everyone who will help energize our consciousness. whatever we want, that gets manifested because of the power of the universe. We often hear that if you desire something with the shiddat, then the whole kainat will work to make that happen. That's what it means. One experiences leadership as a path to fulfill the desire without working towards the goal. Instead, just communicating the goal to another devoted to one as a goalkeeper. When the kainat, when everyone else, the followers, are working to fulfill the desire that you have, that becomes their goal, to fulfill your desire, that person has become goalkeeper. The followers have become the goalkeeper. When a goalkeeper assumes responsibility, one superpositions its consciousness like that of a father, taking the goalkeeper as the mother who guides him. Superpositioning consciousness like that of a father, and the goalkeeper becomes the mother, creator. Mother as a guide with an R, which is responsibility, makes father the guider, guru, who follows the order of the mother to create the children who fulfill the desire that the father has by complementing the work of mother. Father universalizes the consciousness of mother by creating a universe without the mother, universe of children. First, universalizing energy within her to create a universe within him. The ego of the father is growing. The ambitions are growing. The desires are growing. They're amplifying. The whole universe of desires is emerging. By gifting mother the primordiality, primacy, the father conceives the mother as the primordial creator. Father is gifting mother the primordiality, and mother is then gifting father the primordiality by making sure that father's desires are the ones which get fulfilled. The primordial creator has been named in our ancient scriptures as Padmavati. Padmavati is a presiding deity in Jainism. Padmavati means bloomer, blooming a lotus within the heart to cycle the petals of consciousness into flowers of energy, multiplying the seed cell for the reproduction of the implanted cause. The plant causes everyone to consume the consciousness of the goal and be the goalkeeper, breathing the energy, thus accelerating the realization of the objective. So when all the followers are working for you. So implications. Nature accelerates realization when one is not reproducing the consciousness of another like one's own for producing energy that is not necessarily to realize the goal of one's well-being as a conscious entity. Say that each one of us is Shivansh, or the image of God. Each Ansh has the same potential as the goalkeeper, Shiv. We are capable of ensuring our own well-being if we realize that we have the same potential that Shiv has. We don't have to go and beg Shiv. Shiv has already given that gifts to us. When we are begging Shiv for something, then we are essentially communicating to Shiv that whatever he has given us, that's not sufficient. We have not really understood the gifts, and we don't even want to understand that. The reason we get educated, the reason we work on developing our own potential is to cultivate the potential that has been gifted by Shiv. What kind of consciousness we reproduce? We reproduce consciousness of entities we have met in the past, who may have met in person, or through books, through movies, through furniture that we consumed. Somebody made that furniture. We are producing consciousness, the entities we have met in the present intellectually, conceiving their presence in our mind. Conceive presence of Nehru, Rajiv Gandhi, we may not have met them in the past. First time we are conceiving because we met them intellectually. Or in the future mentally, perceiving their absence from our consciousness. So if somebody is absent, that somebody is now being reproduced in our consciousness. We have to make sure that we don't reproduce any of these types of consciousness. Enjoy that acceleration of realization, the prapti from nature. Conclusions. By consciously deciding not to generate consciousness of a para-entity, an entity that transcends us, God or anyone, we develop our consciousness as an entity into energy necessary to regenerate consciousness of the essence. Realization of the essence gives the real sense of the things, knowing the elements that make everything. The elements are the foundation to produce anything one wishes when one does not desire something that consumes the elements in just conceiving the desire without any intention of perceiving the path of action to fulfill that desire. If we don't intend to perceive the path of action to fulfill that desire because we feel that we are not capable, Shiv has not given us those gifts, and therefore we must rely on the blessings, additional blessings of Shiv. We must beg Shiv. We are investing all the elements, the fire, the water, the air, the earth, the ether, in just conceiving the desire. We are left with no energy, no divinity to actually fulfill that by conceiving appropriate path of action as a guru. When one runs away from the path of action, karma marg, The path of knowing, jnana, borrowed from another, takes one to the path of devotion to another, for channeling another's divinity, siddhi, for one's publicity, prasiddhi. Why you have become devoted to a leader? Because you want that leader to publicize you, to give you credit. Channeling is environmentalism, causing you to yearn for that false credit. The reference for the philosophy science that I have just presented is Project Bhakti, Boosting Human Agility to Quick Totipotent Impact. Website www.drvipingupta.com. There are 3 books I have written on this. This work seeded by Project Vipin, Vastly Integrated Processes Inside Nature, where I wrote 12 books, 1.5 million words, all original, over 21 and 22. These 3 books were written in 23. This year, I'm writing 3 additional books, Science of Spirituality, Science of Divinity, and Science of Infinity. I wish you all the best for the conference.